Nothing but Niners.
So now they've got to start from deep in their end of the field, and Garrison Hurst takes advantage of it. He takes the handoff, switches to his right, gets to the 20. He's in the 30, needs to cut in. He comes back up the right sideline, breaks the third tackle, comes down to the 30. He's down to the 20. He's down to the 10. He's down to the 5. He's into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown! 49ers! 96-yard run from scrimmage. Garrison Hurst.
Young back to throw. In trouble. He's going to be sacked. No, gets away. He runs, gets away again, goes to the 40, gets away again, to the 35, cuts back at the 30, to the 20, the 15, the 10. He dies. Touchdown, 49ers.
11's 27-yard line. 49ers into the backfield. Smith on third down. He will take it himself for first down.
Left hip. Third down, Alex takes the snap. Alex looking down in the post, and it's good! Touchdown! Touchdown 40! It is second down. Ryan takes the snap, goes to plant to the left side. It's Russell, intercepted! The 49ers pick it, and Navarro Bowman is redemption! Navarro Bowman running it all the way for a touchdown!
Kaepernick shoots it. Hold everybody. Colin Kaepernick. What a game. Touchdown.
Yeah. Click, click, boom. What's going on, faithfuls? The Nothing But Niners crew is back, and we are here to bring you guys another fun-filled episode, guys. It is time to talk about the game that just was, the game that is no more, the Week 16 matchup against the Arizona Cardinals. But before we get into any and all of that, got to run through a couple of quick formalities here. If it's your first time here on the YouTube page, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Also, turning notifications so you know exactly when we're going live. Make sure you guys give us a couple of follows, okay? We have social media platforms, Twitter and Snapchat are Nothing But 9 ERS. Again, that is Nothing But 9 ERS. That is on Twitter and Snapchat. I am all on the wrong one. We have Instagram, Twitch, as well as Facebook. Those handles are exactly the same. It's all spelled out. That is Nothing But Niners. All right, guys, you can go to the website also. It's the same exact thing. NothingButNiners.com. No numbers in there anywhere. I'm your guy, 49ers Mike _NFL. Below me is my guy, NJ Niner fan, 499. He is Tony. And on the side over there is my guy, Brian, ST8R. Right? Yes, I did it. ST8R _9R. And then over here to this side is my guy, Breezy. He is Wayne Breezy. Fellas.
Yo!
How y'all doing, man? What's up?
What up? I'm Breezy, baby. You know, we got that dub. Just like I said we would.
Got the dub. Breezy's feeling it. Tony, how you feeling, bro?
I'm all right. Just ready to talk about this couple topics we have lined up for tonight. One of them, I don't know if you got it on the schedule, but I want to talk about if the team should do the Robbie Gould thing or not.
Yeah, we'll touch on that when we get to the pros and cons of the game. We're going to get there, man. But, you know, Brian, man, we didn't see you before the game. We didn't see you during the game or after. Now, this is going to be fun because I think I got a good feel for who Brian is. But I want I want Breezy and Tony to try to guess how Brian feels about the victory on Sunday. Come on, just take a wild guess. And then we'll see if we're right.
You don't like it.
You don't like it? Breezy, you agree?
I think he wanted to win.
You think he wanted to win?
Yeah.
I think Brian is a guy of logic and thinks that win did absolutely nothing to help the 49ers. And so he's mad that we dropped 3 spots in the draft. What are your thoughts, man?
So, yeah, I lean both ways, but mostly you and Tony are right. I would have preferred the loss just because I would have liked to get the draft pick. But being that we won, what I would have liked to have seen was more at the back end of our squad play and get some more time for those guys who are on the bubble. So we didn't have an off season this, a true, off season or a preseason this year. So it would have been nice to evaluate some of those pieces that we had to bring in to fill holes and see if we want to keep them as part of the future of the team. And I just didn't see that. So I was a little disappointed in the game itself. To be honest, I was expecting a loss, so the win was great as far as the emotional part of it. But what I would have liked to see the team do was get a higher draft pick. But I know you're not going to talk 53 active players or 46, whatever it ends up being. You're not going to talk them into losing a game so that the team gets a better, they're not about helping the team. They're about helping themselves earn a paycheck. So that's what those guys are out there trying to do. Sure, as a fan, I would have liked to see them get a higher pick. But, I mean, when you're talking about the probabilities of where we would have picked versus where we probably will pick, you're talking 5-6 slots maybe. So, I mean, sure, if you're one of those people who are out there like, we need to go get Zach Wilson. We need to go get kid out of North Dakota.
But I get what you're saying, but no.
Then you want to trade up, and that we hurt ourselves. We're not going to be. It'll cost us even more to trade up if that's what people want to do. Me personally, I don't hope they don't take a quarterback in the first round, but and given what we've seen Kyle do in his previous locations, or at least what we've seen the head coaches he's worked for do, I just don't expect to see that. But only time will tell.
Well, there is, like you said, we went from 12th in the draft position to 15th. But we have to reflect on this game, man. It was a fun game to watch. The live experience was incredible. Doing the show live. This one was a fun one. And there's pros and there's cons. There's roster moves to get to. So let's get to the roster moves before we even get to all of the game reviews here, guys. The 49ers have had to put some guys away. So let's start with the wide receiver, Brandon Ayuk. I don't know if you guys have heard or not, but Brandon Ayuk has a high ankle sprain.
Yep.
That is like officially the name of this team now, or the San Francisco high ankle sprains. Like I don't understand. I've never seen so many high ankle sprains in my life. And then the reports, he's done for the season. Like they make it sound like it's this really long, like damning injury. And it's like, bro, he's done for one game. I mean, the season was done. So what are your guys' thoughts on this, man? With Brandon Ayuk being out, how do you feel about the rookies? Let's reflect on his rookie campaign really quick. And then who do you think steps up in his place? Let's start with Wayne first.
I mean, it's a high ankle sprain. It's the talk of the season. Brandon Ayuk's done, man. I thought he put together a good rookie season for us with the games that he missed, the games that he played, he was stellar. I can't even imagine what this kid's going to be like with the incompetent, with a competent quarterback, a quarterback that could get him the ball and do things, man. He's going to be stellar for the 49ers going forward. I think he put together a really good season. He was electrifying to watch. That first game when he came and he jumped over the dude's head to get the touchdown, like that was amazing. Like it's just some things that we're going to get from Brandon Ayuk that we could look forward to at the wide receiver position. I still think going forward, the 49ers are probably going to add and continue to add more wide receivers. So don't be mad if they draft another guy or two. They have some draft picks they could play around with. But with Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and I know everybody wants to see this Jalen Hurd cat, man. You know what? He can't stay healthy either. So I'm not sure what that's going to be like for the 49ers wide receiver room. But I think our wide receiver room is finally shaping up. And I'm excited to see what these guys bring to the table in 2021.
All right, man. Let's go back to Brian here.
Yeah, I mean, I like what I saw from BA this year. I think that it might have shocked a lot of people who didn't see him being selected that high in the draft, the production that he got, but obviously they did a good job scouting him. I think that he'll be great for this team going forward, and I think in his absence, we'll probably see a little bit more out of James and potentially Craycraft, get more stuff going on in there, and then obviously maybe McKinnon out of the backfield taking that spot since we won't have him back there doing that.
All right, Tony. We were talking about whether or not he could make that 1,000-yard mark. Obviously, he fell short. He had the one reception in the game, and he had the one carry. And Shanahan actually said that he thought that he got the high ankle sprain on the third play of the game. Why did he come back out after halftime? What were your thoughts on the performance on Sunday and on the season as a whole? And how do you think he bounces back from this high ankle sprain?
I really like what I've seen this season with Ayuk. I know, like, I was one of the guys that tried to say get Judy, but Kyle flexed his muscles and got his guy that he feels best fits his offense, in which he proved that he does fit the offense very well. It's just a shame that the quarterback play has been so inconsistent. Unfortunately, he does have the high ankle sprain. I think you're going to see Kendrick Bourne step up. You're going to see the guy that we just signed off of Miami's practice squad, Cole, maybe get an opportunity. Craycraft's going to get an opportunity. Richie James. We do have Jordan Matthews on the active roster. And this could be a chance where Kevin White could be brought up potentially too. So I'm really excited to see him in the future, like next in 2021. Hopefully we have the quarterback situation solved and figured out, and the consistency will start to take over and the offense will take that next step.
Yeah, I liked what we saw from the young man. Another guy, this his season is much like how Debo's was last year. You saw him kind of coming into his own as the season progressed, and you get really excited for him. And then he, another thing that I like, one of the last things I heard about him or from him was how he put to bed the, I didn't have this great grasp of the offense like how it was reported. I know they were saying that, I'm this, Shanahan said that he's the best rookie receiver he's ever worked with as far as knowledge of the game and stuff like that. And he was like, it's just starting to slow down a little bit for me. So he kind of put that to bed, saying that there's still a lot that he could improve on. And I thought that was pretty cool to see and hear coming from him. It sucks that his campaign ends the way it does. I was like Wayne. I really thought that we had a chance of seeing a 1,000-yard receiver here. I really thought we had a chance at it. He had 3 weeks to get, what was it, like 340 yards or something like that. And he had been doing his thing. He was averaging 95 yards for the 5 games before that. But alas, we fall a little bit short. We don't get what we were looking for. But, what happened is what happened. There were other roster moves, though, that were there. Let me see if I can find them really quick. I lost them. Oh, Trent Williams. Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams. Trent Williams is going to be out for the game. What are your guys' thoughts on that, man? Yeah, he had the elbow injury. And what does this do for his future? Is this a long-term injury? I know we don't know the details of it and all, but are you guys concerned about it? Let's do this one in reverse. Let's go back to Tony, Brian, and then Breezy.
I think they're just playing it safe. They know they're out of the playoffs. Trent Williams has the banged up elbow. I don't think it's anything serious. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say it's not serious because he's hurt and he's out, but I don't think it's anything like surgery, like that requires surgery. The scary thing is who's going to play the left tackle spot, because School started at right guard last week, even though I thought it was McKivitz. But I guess they're going to have to put McKivitz back in at right guard and slide him out to left tackle, which could be very scary. And you might see the team come out in 12 personnel a lot more with the 2 tight ends and 1 chipping to School's side. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting. And I don't think this is going to jeopardize 2021 for Trent. Hopefully he will be back here. But that's another episode that we're going to touch on that topic.
Okay. And I think Tony hit it on the head. I mean, he covered everything that I was going to say, really. So I really don't have anything to add to that. But I agree. I think he will be back next year. I think this is a precautionary. I don't think this is a long-term type of injury. This is just like Tony was saying. We're at a point in the season where there's no reason to put anybody out there that's potentially going to hurt themselves further than they already are. If we can cover, just like we did when Staley was out, we threw School in there, but then we used Juice and Kittle to assist. And so I think that you're going to see more of the same on Sunday with the Seahawks.
All right, Breezy, I don't know if you have any different thoughts, but if you don't, I have a little spin on that, little question to add to this. But go ahead. Let's see what you have to say first, and then we'll go from there.
I don't think that the injury is too serious. Same what the other fellas said. I think this is just one of those games that your veteran's going to get off. Season's over. It's time to evaluate guys. We talked about evaluating players. Well, this is going to be the game where we evaluate a Justice School, a Colton McKivitz. You know what I'm saying? We don't know who's playing for Seattle or whatnot, but we do know, I believe they clinched the division, so they're in the playoffs or whatnot. The 49ers get to come out there and just really get that good old evaluation preseason, end of the season type game. So hopefully we'll get to see, School will most definitely be at left tackle. And I think McKivitz is at the guard position and Brunskill will be starting center. So it's not going to be too much different than what we've been seeing. But yeah, same thoughts as the other fellas.
So you guys are really confident that School goes to left tackle.
I'm super confident.
You got something else?
I think I do. I know it's not conventional, and I know that it's not likely to happen. But what if we put School to right tackle and move Mike McGlinchey to left tackle?
Somebody's going to kill CJ.
Nah, yeah, I'd rather have School there, bro.
Really? The blind side. Okay.
The way I look at it is, I understand where you're going with this, okay? But the way I look at it is, if he's struggling as a right tackle, he's got to flip his mechanics to go to the left side, and just imagine what that's going to be like right now. It's way too short of a time span. I mean, I know if there's another injury, they're going to be forced to do it, but it's scary when you're struggling in your technique on the right side, and then you got to flip your feet and go to the left side. So that's why it could potentially happen, but I really would be surprised if they come out and trot him out as the left tackle. One other scenario could be is potentially if School struggles, they slide Brunskill to left tackle and insert Bergstrom. Tony Bergstrom, they picked up like 4 weeks ago, who's a veteran center and is on the active roster. So those are the only really changes that I could see coming up if they do need to make a change. But I would just seriously just keep McGlinchey on the right side, let him work on his craft, and let him try to get better, more reps. I understand he's very light this year. Hopefully they throw his ass in the weight room and put him on like a high-calorie diet, put another 20 pounds on him. And hopefully that could help him next year.
All right. It'll definitely be interesting to see. I think no matter how you look at it, though, for sure, there will be at least 2 changes along that offensive line when we play against Seattle, right? At least 2 changes. The left tackle and one of those guard positions are going to change up now because we had our right guard School. He's going to probably go play tackle, which means we're going to have to get a different right guard. So,
right.
So we're looking at least 2 changes. I'm just one. All right. We'll see what happens, man. It's going to be very interesting.
I think Kyle said that I don't know if it was Kyle or someone said that Kyle said on KMBR that because McKivitz just came off the COVID list, he wanted to ease him back into the lineup. That's the only reason why School started at right guard versus Arizona. So I just wanted to throw that out there. I don't think it was because they wanted School over McKivitz. I just think they wanted to get him back into playing shape or get his wind up because he was out, I think, for 2 weeks on the COVID list. So that's interesting.
All right. More injury news from the Cardinals game. Jordan Willis suffered a high ankle sprain as well. Stop me if you heard this before. Okay. Jordan Willis sprain.
What's a high ankle sprain?
It's apparently this. I think
it's
it comes like
team, right?
You know how you order like a Happy Meal from McDonald's, and you tell them what kind of Happy Meal you want, right? You could say like the chicken nugget Happy Meal, and they say, do you want extra fries or you want apple slices? And you tell them what it is, and you ask for your drink. Do you want apple juice? You want fruit punch? And then they just throw this other thing in the box every time. Every single, it's not napkins. It's a toy. Apparently, it just comes with the meal. Well, as soon as you put on your jersey and your pad for the Niners, boom, a high ankle sprain just comes with the jersey. It's like the free toy at McDonald's. It just comes with it no matter what. It's just there. So I don't know. It is,
that could be it. That's probably going to be one of the topics for right after the season, before we start our free agency stuff, we got to start talking about potential replacements for a defensive coordinator and a couple position coaches on our staff, as well as potentially I would say the training staff in trouble again.
Yeah. Yeah. Are they not taping ankles the right way? Like,
That's what I want to know. I mean, Jimmy's ankle was taped like a madman in practice when they showed the clip of him and Josh Rosen doing drills, but this guy, I don't know. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I think it has more to do with the conditioning, honestly, Tony, than it does the training staff. I mean, these guys missed an entire offseason, basically. And so I think that really is what boils down why we're having – I mean, I know that a lot of other teams aren't having the injuries that we've seen, right? And people will bitch and complain that it has to do with the turf that we played on versus the grass that we are used to playing on. But I think it has to do with the fact they just didn't have the conditioning that they normally get.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Well, time will tell. But, like, if you told me, like, you know, we had 10 guys that were banged up, that could be it. You're in the 20s, approaching the 30s.
Right, but they're all different. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of high ankle sprains, but there's other injuries on this team as well. So they're not all that.
And I feel like we're dealing with the guy when Kyle came in. I forgot his name. He was in Washington with Mike Shanahan. So when Kyle got hired here, he brought him in as the strength and conditioning coach. I forgot his damn name, but it's like the same thing. That's the guy who made that makeshift hill that they were doing sprints up and down.
See the guy. I can visualize who you're talking about.
I know. He's big stock dude, man.
I can't think of his name.
I hate that you said this because now I have to find the answer. I have to. I hate that I have to look this up because it's really gonna bother me. Hold on.
It's Dustin Perry now, right?
No, fudge nutters.
Mark Umanura was the old coach, who actually I thought was pretty damn good. I don't know. I know Kyle probably wanted to bring his people in, but
so there's a question on here about Jimmy.
Ray Wright.
Ray freaking.
Yep, that was his name. Mark had a question about Jimmy and why they aren't trying to build his stock. And just real quick to look at that. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, and I know what Kyle said. I honestly think that he'll be back next year on an extension, so you might want to get used to Jimmy here for a while.
I won't say that.
Stafford, not going to be able to afford him. Wentz, not going to be able to afford him. Those are the names everybody's throwing out. Watson's not leaving Houston, and you're not going to get one of the top 4 QBs in this draft.
You're saying that we can't afford him as if we make that move, Jimmy is still here.
No. Even if you cut Jimmy's $26 million, you still have to pay $36 million to Stafford. If
it's post 6-1, his cap number goes to $20 million.
It's not gonna be post 6-1. They're gonna have whatever this trade happens. If a trade happens, you know, if Jimmy agrees to a trade or any of that stuff, it's all gonna happen like in February, March.
Wow.
You know, right at the beginning of right before the new season starts, or as soon as they're able to make that happen.
Why are we so certain about that?
I think that they're in a hurry to figure out what's settled. And I think right now, given what Kyle said the other day or yesterday or whatever, I think that he plans on him being here. And I think that the way he said it didn't make me think that it was just him saying something because he's only allowed to talk about that quarterback because he's the only one on his roster next year. The way he said it made me sound like he believes he's going to be there. And the only way, as we've talked before, that he can make that happen is for Jimmy to get an extension and them have to bring his salary cap down for next year. And that's what I think they're going to end up doing. They'll end up drafting a quarterback probably, but it's not going to be in the first round, I don't think. It's just not their MO to do that. I don't see that. But I could be wrong. I mean, it's all speculation. So
I don't think Kyle could come out and say, I'm not sure if he's going to be here because you just took all your leverage and just threw it out the window because now the league has the sense that there is question in Jimmy. And if you remember in 2019 going into 2020, he said the same thing about DeForest Buckner. DeForest Buckner is going nowhere. He's our guy. He's going to be a part of this franchise.
Who said that?
Kyle and John.
I remember.
First day of free agency, DeForest Buckner was gone.
Yeah, well, they offered Buckner a deal. We've talked about this before. They've offered him a deal. He didn't want the deal. He wanted more money. So he can bitch and complain all the way he wants about being in Indiana, but that's the facts. He was offered a deal. And he opted not to be here.
know that, but I'm trying to compare how the talk of Buckner. We're comparing this to the talk of Kyle, Jimmy. So
right, but we also had people who could step in along pieces, not necessarily someone equivalent to Buckner, but we had pieces that could come in and we could also draft to help replace that. I don't see us drafting someone to replace Jimmy. I think that he's going to be here for a while. I know a lot of people don't want to hear it, and I didn't want to accept it at first, but now that I've been looking at numbers, I just anticipate they're going to do an extension on him to get his salary cap down to about $7 million or so for this for 2021. And then that's still going to open up 20 million, 19 million for the cap. And I think, and that locks in if you look at him statistically, now I understand, with his injury history, that's different. But statistically, he's a very good quarterback, regardless of what we see on the TV or we want to bitch and complain about everything. He is a really good quarterback.
You're just talking data. What you're talking is just
record-wise. Yes, I agree.
You're talking just numbers.
That's all I care about. I don't give a shit what he does, as long as he wins.
Right, but his play has regressed, and that's what our eyes tell us.
Right, but look at he's also been injured. That it didn't. I think that more time he's going to be fine. I think that they plan to keep him here. I don't think he's going anywhere, and I don't think that they're going to spend a top 10 draft pick or trade up to get into the top 10 or wherever. Do they have to get a quarterback from this particular draft? Because I don't feel like it's all that strong, but again, those are just my opinions.
All right, we'll see. We'll this is definitely stuff we're going to get back to. More roster moves to announce here really quick. Running back Austin Walter has been activated off of the reserve COVID list. Fullback Josh Hokett has been restored to the team's practice squad from the practice squad COVID list. All right, and then offensive lineman Hronis Grasu and long snapper Tabor Pepper have been placed on reserve COVID list. One name that I don't see here is Colin Holben has been signed. I don't see that listed on this. Yeah. Holba. And what did I say? I said Holben, my bad. Oh, I'm reading stupid. Okay. But yeah, I don't see that listed here in this article, but I know that he was also signed. That is the long snapper. So he is back with the 49ers. And that's interesting because I don't know if you guys remember that when we went through like a whole bunch of different holders and snappers.
Yeah. No, long snappers. They brought in Joe Condon. He retired after 1 week. And then they brought in another dude. Holba, I think, took over. And then they brought this guy that just got knocked out, Pepper.
But remember when Robbie Gould went through his funk last year and we kept going through guys? I swear, Holba was one of those guys. I swear
he's been on this roster before, yes.
He was, right?
Yeah.
So Robbie Gould has his worst game probably all season, and they're bringing in a guy that did not have good chemistry between kicker, long snapper, holder. And that's going to take us to our next topic, Robbie Gould. This guy did everything in his power. It was the 49ers versus the refs and Robbie Gould in this game. And somehow the 49ers still won this game. Bro, I watched this. I watched that fumble by Beathard. I got pissed off all over again. I watched him call not touchdown on Wilson's long play and got pissed off all over again. I watched them call that a completed pass and not offensive pass interference and got pissed off all over again, knowing it was coming. But what the heck was going on with Robbie Gould, man? Like, what do we just call this a one-off? Because I remember David Akers. He was kicking fine, boom, hit a wall, and that was it. And I don't want to see this happen again.
And the same thing with Phil Dawson when he was here.
Yes, and Phil Dawson's. So what do you guys think, man? Because this is a contract year for him, and they have to decide on him tonight or tomorrow.
31st.
31st, Joe. The 31st, man.
All right. So 2 days. They have to decide on him. What would you guys do if Robbie Gold's future was in your hands? Let's start with Wayne because he's just getting popped.
Oh, I bring him back. I mean, finding a kicker out there ain't easy. I mean, we're watching young guys miss. We're watching old guys miss. You could chalk it up to say he just had a bad kicking game or whatnot. You could chalk it up to say that the long snapper had COVID. So things happen. Look, man, it's $5 million. You go ahead and you extend them. You're paying them $5 million for a year, and then you look. How many draft picks we got? We got enough to draft the kicker. We've drafted a punter already, so I can see them probably drafting the kicker in the 19th round or something like that. Pick a guy up or whatnot, or bring a guy in. But I think you sign him, man. He's a veteran kicker. Before this game, he was like 19 for 21 or something. Like he was. I mean, his stats are really good.
Yeah.
He misses 2 field goals and an extra point. He made me lose my fantasy football league because he only got 1 point. But other than that, Robbie Gold is the guy who still wants to
he finished positive in your fantasy?
Yeah, 1 point.
He was 0 for 2 in field goals, and he missed. He was
Everybody scores different, bro. It's the way they score it, bro. I don't question it. I know I got my butt whipped, but yeah, man. So you got to bring Robbie back. That's just my opinion. I mean, you go out there and find me another kicker that you want to come in here and kick for the 49ers.
Okay. Anybody disagree with that take?
Nope. I think you bring him back. I said the only reason that I would have ever even speculated that he might go anywhere was nothing to do with his ability. It all has to do with salary. But I don't think. I think that the salary they're going to pay him next year is well worth the consistency that we have seen from him. I think this was an anomaly game.
He's our leading scorer too, by the way. I just want to point that out to everybody out there.
Absolutely.
Most kickers.
I knew. I was just waiting for Mike to say that.
Come on. I threw that out there earlier. Remember that was my hot take at the beginning of the season.
You did have that hot take.
We had to look it up.
I thought one of y'all were going to catch me then, but no one said anything. But yeah, I get you. All right. Tony, man, so you agree too? You bringing Robbie back, huh?
I think that he's probably going to come back because I have just a funny feeling. I keep reading about it. I said it on another show that I think the cap is going to stay where it's at. So I think by that happening, going from 175, where it was projected at, to potentially 195, 198, it gives the team a little more flexibility to be able to, the luxury to keep Robbie Gold. If it don't move, I don't know. I really don't know, because a lot of teams have been like rotating kickers. Like I see like Nugent just finally caught on with Arizona. The guy Gay with the Rams, who filled in for Zerline because Zerline went to Dallas. Teams are finding kickers. It's just it's going to be you don't want it to be like what it was like for our long snapper situation, where like 1 week it's this guy, 1 week it's that guy, 1 week it's that guy, because we all say that continuity between the snap, the hold, and the kick is very important. But I do think Robbie Gold fell off from the 50+ range because he was 2 for 4, where he was pretty much known to be very, very good kicking from 50+ yards. So they're going to have to keep the ball inside the 50. Probably, I would say, the safe between 30 and 40-yard field goals. Robbie Gold should be good, even though he did miss these field goals last week. But his percentage is still high, and I just think the only way he goes is if it comes down strictly to a salary cap decision.
Let me ask you this, kickers. How much are you willing to spend, even with the salary cap? So 3.5.
2.5.
What is he going to book for this year? I forgot.
Like 4.7 or something.
Book for almost $5 million.
Oof.
Yeah, he's the second highest paid kicker.
Exactly. He shouldn't be coming back. He should not.
If I'm a Super Bowl contending team, I want the second highest paid kicker also.
No, if you're a Super Bowl contending team, you want a kicker with all the ability. Robbie Gold is super limited. He's good at kicking extra.
Who's the highest paid kicker?
I don't know.
Okay, and that's my point. You don't know.
No.
You get what I'm saying?
I think Zerline might be up there.
I don't care who the highest paid kicker is. I want a guy with ability. Robbie Gold is good at kicking extra points and anything from 5 to 10 yards behind that. After that, he's no good. He's not good. The 49ers were punting from what would be field goal range for other people a lot this year. No one's talking about it because we had a bad team. That's the kind of stuff. If you think you're a Super Bowl bound team, you're gonna need to have to make 54 and 55 yard kicks sometimes. We don't even attempt that. We punt. We just punt. And that's gonna hold the team back at a certain point. We're especially if Jimmy Garoppolo isn't the guy coming back and we got another guy under center out there who's learning this offense. They're not gonna move the ball down the field as well as they normally do. You're gonna need somebody who can make that 50+ yarder. Robbie can't do it. Get his ass out of here. I'm not making you the highest paid player to be the most limited player at your position also. Sorry, I'm not doing that.
Player, though. Like, he's not.
I'm not going to make you the second highest paid player.
There you go.
Be the most limited player at your position. It doesn't make any sense. I'm not punting from the 40-yard line. I'm not doing that because you can't kick a 50-yarder. I'm not doing that.
So where are you going to get a kicker that consistently kicks longer than 50 yards, Mike? Where are you going to find him?
So Robbie Gold has 2 50-yard field goals this year. Just want to point that out.
They've only attempted 4, right?
So he's 50% from 50. Not everybody's making 50-yard field goals.
Right. Where are you going to find one that consistently does it? You're not.
I'm not a draft scout.
They'll find him, and he's not leaving.
They are out there. I promise you guys that every team has a kicker that's made more than 2 field goals from more than 50 yards. I promise you. They're out there. I'm not a scout. I don't know. Find somebody from a soccer league or something. I don't know. I don't know where they get these guys from. Draft one. I don't know. Find one. That's what they get paid for. And what I'm saying is, if you're a Super Bowl bound team, you can't sit here and just be like, well, we can keep them as long as we only kick field goals from 43 yards or shorter. That's an extra point.
We shouldn't even be kicking field goals. We should be scoring touchdowns.
Oh, well,
that's
never mind. So then that's even more of a reason we don't need a kicker then, right?
No, we do need a kicker. You got to kick the ball off. But at the end of the day, we should be having to kick 50-yard field goals if our team stop going 3 and out, or if our team freaking gets the ball into better field goal range. You don't want your kicker kicking 50-yard field goals all the damn time. The percentages are low. The percentages aren't 100% from 50 yards, Mike, for no kicker. Even Steven Gauskowski, who was the highest paid kicker at the time before, I think Steven Gauskowski was actually higher paid. He just started falling off. Kickers fall off. It happens. I get what you're saying, but
and that's where Robbie Gold is. That's his.
We don't know if he's falling.
We don't know
off.
That. There's not enough tape to show that he's falling off like that.
You're mad because he didn't kick 10 50-yard field goals this year.
Look at how y'all defending this dude. This is funny to me. Listen, we have all the.
Mike, you said he can't kick 50-yard field goals, right?
That's right.
And he kicked 2. He kicked long 40.
4 and only made 2.
Okay, so he made 2. He made long 40s, a couple of 30s, and missed some 30s.
Okay.
So why is
my purpose is we have already seen that he's falling off by where they're willing to even attempt kicks from. That right there lets you know that they are only working within his limited area. That's number one. They're not even willing to attempt certain kicks anymore. That tells you that there's already a decline.
I don't understand why we're having an argument over a freaking kicker, bro. It costs $4.7 million, bro.
That's too much money for a kicker who is limited. That's my point.
Okay, Mike. All right. I hope they feel the same way so Mike can get his wish.
So I can get my ears?
Your wish. I didn't say ears.
Oh, I thought you said
ears.
Like, what does that mean? Apparently. Yeah, I was like, you see, hold on. What's that mean? Get my ears. Get my ears going. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what they do, man. I just, I need somebody that's going to come in here and do something. Do something. I don't know what, but do something.
Sure, I want every player to be the best player at his position in the NFL on our team. Right. I would love that.
But why are y'all acting like we don't want to upgrade? It's the same thing with the Jimmy Garoppolo company. He's okay.
Upgrading. It's not that we won't upgrade. I just don't think we have to worry about that this season. It's one more season with Robbie Gold. Your offense should get. It doesn't have to be. Then you're in the lead kicker, and then let's say the kicker you bring in doesn't do what we need him to do. Now we're in the search of finding a kicker. You get what I'm saying? Like it could backfire.
I mean, if Shanahan's going to go to a presser and say we're looking to upgrade at every position, incling quarterback,
I understand that, Mike. But I'm saying it can backfire. Plans to do things can backfire. We could get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, bring in a new quarterback, and we'd be shit.
It's true. That is very true.
I mean, everybody want Matt Stafford. I don't think he can stay healthy, but that's what people want. You know what I'm saying? Like
Didn't Matt play more games this year than Jimmy Garoppolo?
this year.
This year, but consistently he's been injured a lot throughout his
Okay,
career.
in the last
My
3
point,
years.
my point is why
People want,
issue
people want
is he's
wins
played in
too.
more
That guy
games.
can't stay healthy either.
why we
Stafford's issue is he gets dinged up in games.
Yeah.
Stafford's issue is he get dinged up in games, and like he don't miss a lot of games. He just gets banged up.
And he
But
don't
I
say
tell you what, I would love to see Stafford in his offense. I really would, but I just don't think it could happen because I just you're bringing in a 33-year-old quarterback going to be 34. And then you got to ask yourself, all right, what are we trading to get him here? You know what I'm saying? So it would be interesting to see Stafford and Kyle's offense. It's just I don't know if right now with all the holes they have to fill, if it's the right time to do a deal like that and give up equity to backfill your roster in a draft.
So
we spent 30 minutes on Robbie on the kicker.
we did not spend no 30 minutes on Robbie. Shut up. We did not spend no 30 minutes on goal. So listen, man, the game is over. The dust is settled, man. Like I said, we have dropped 3 spots in the draft race right here. Okay. But the game is over. We lost some players. It's a costly game. But the season's also over. We weren't going to the postseason. This won't hurt us in the long run and down the stretch. What are your guys' thoughts on the game overall, man? Let's do this. Let's everybody highlight one player. Let's give out our game balls here. Let's do a little game ball segment here. Somebody that you thought played an excellent game, or someone that maybe not an excellent game. We know the big names already, right? But maybe somebody that you don't think got a lot of attention, but you realize, hey, that guy actually played a pretty good game. How's that? That's I like that. That's a little changing. Because I got one that I'm sure none of you guys would ever say.
Well, I'm just happy that Wilson finally got to do what I've been saying he should have been doing all damn year. You know, I thought we should have shit canned Tico and let Wilson take that job, but that was not the plan. So, but I'm happy that he got the game he got. You know, I'm not saying he can do it consistently because we haven't had the opportunity to see that. So I don't know, but I'm glad he had the game that he had.
Yeah.
I know that's the easy one.
That's an easy one. You know, it's funny because I believe they did. You know, Tico got hurt, so the opportunity was there. You get your opportunity, you make the best of it. And Jeff Wilson did it while he was healthy. Then he got dinged up. So the running back position is starting to scare me. Believe it or not, I don't know why we're getting dinged up at that spot. But the guy I'm going with is on defense, man. Look, Mike's been raving about this kid forever, and I want to say, you know, Witherspoon has been looking like a lockdown cornerback. When I say lock, I mean he's forcing quarterbacks to overthrow passes. I don't think any DB on our team or in the league really can handle comeback or dig routes and things like that. Yo, I mean, those are just really stop cuts. But I tell you what, he's there to do. He was there to wrap and tackle, same way as Jason Verrett. But I think this kid is making a good push to say, hey, 49ers, pay me. You could say F that all you want, but I think Witherspoon, I'm going to say it, Witherspoon is better than Mosley. And a healthy Witherspoon is better than Mosley. And we all saw that before Witherspoon got injured. And then when he got injured, we don't know what happened in his stuff just happened. We don't know what it was, and he just wasn't the same. He was struggling to get back mentally, physically, whatever, but he looked like he was back to part. And Witherspoon gave up that one throw, which he was pushed off on, and that should have been OPI. Other than that, he was on point.
I'm not going to argue with you. I think that during this game, he was on point, yes. And he's had 4 years to have this game.
See, that's not saying that. Look, last year, he was the starting DB. He had 2 games where he looked like him and Sherman was about to take this game by storm. That's how he looked. He got hurt in that Pittsburgh game, and he hasn't been right ever since until 2 weeks ago. Because he's been playing consistently good for 2 weeks.
So we got We got Jeff
Jeff Wilson Jr. and Keller Witherspoon.
Keller Witherspoon. Tony, who you got?
Oh, I got a couple people. I'm not going to take your guy because I know why.
You don't know who my guy is.
I know.
I promise you. I don't even think my guy showed up on the stat sheet, honestly. Actually, I'll tell you who my guy is.
Good.
Defensive lineman, Alex Barrett. I know that sounds crazy, right?
Nah,
This guy was consistently around the ball and in the backfield. He was. I don't think I saw him make a single tackle. I think I saw him get up off a pile one time, but he wasn't the first guy there. You know what I mean? So
he was spin moving, getting to forcing Kyler Murray to have. Remember, we kept saying, why does Kyler Murray have 90,000 seconds to throw the ball? The moment they put him in the game, Murray got shook.
Yeah, it was so different with him out there. Man, I think he's number 64. Yeah, he was 64 out there. And I'm like, who the hell is that? And I'm like rewinding, like, what the? He's showing a bunch of different moves. It looks like he's just trying shit. Looks like he's just out there trying. And I noticed it, and I thought that was pretty cool. Like that he stood out on film in a game where the Niners defense was blitzing people. You got Kwan flying in, but he's on the other side stopping Kyler from running the opposite way. So Kwan gets home. You know, like it's little stuff like that. This guy just stood out. Like I said, he didn't do anything phenomenal at all. So I liked what I saw from him. And
it's awesome that you noticed that because it had to be last show or the show before that. You were asking why we keep bringing this guy and get rid of him. So you already had this conversation. So the fact that you're seeing why is kind of awesome, you know?
Yeah. Exactly. Yep. And I thought, I was like, oh shit, this is the guy. For a second, I thought he was an offensive lineman. So like it was just I had no idea who he was or what he was going to do, but it was pretty cool seeing him out there playing like that. So all right, Tony, I know you said you got a couple of guys. So who'd you see?
Number one, I would give the game ball to the whole defensive crew, the whole defensive team, hands down. They kept the clamps on that offense. Yeah, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray rushed for, I think, what did we say, 70 yards?
75 yards. Yes.
75
People thought that we kept him under control because we won the game. No. In 2 games against the Niners, that kid ran for over 160 yards. Yeah. That kid's a problem. He's a problem.
So, I mean, as far as the passing game, like you made the bold prediction as far as Hopkins, us not containing Hopkins. And listen, it was Akello sometimes. It was Jason Verrett. It was a bunch of them. Fred Warner had a great game. I think Greenlaw is a great open field tackler, and he has the speed to go sideline to sideline. I think Darian Daniels, the undrafted free agent, had a pretty damn solid game. DJ Jones, we spoke about shooting that hole and blowing things up in the backfield. So I just think the defense as a whole unit should get a game ball. But I will say, I definitely thought you were going to go this route, Mike, with CJ Beathard with the passing of his brother, and the anniversary was that day. I definitely think he should get a game ball for the way he played. He did not turn the ball over, and the offense finally looked like a complete unit. It wasn't the true Kyle Shanahan offense, but it was able to sustain a drive and move the ball. There was creativity. There was rolling the pocket. There were Juszczyk, 2 touchdowns. Jeff Wilson Jr., a touchdown. So even though the ball wasn't going to all the wide receivers and minus Kittle, he had 3 catches, I think, for 60 or 70 yards. I'm not 100% sure. But
had 92 yards, bro.
92 yards. The receivers were not in the game plan, but the tight end and the backs were very involved, and he made his throws when he needed to. And that's a big statement, and that's something to be very proud of right now, especially what we've seen. Nick Mullins, great, right up to the 4th quarter, and he shits the bed. CJ Beathard, he had that one throw. We were like, what the hell? Then he took the sack, and then he just kept playing. His play was solid. He didn't go down. He went up. And that's a very positive – to me, it was very positive, and I think hands down he deserves a game ball for coming out, playing, not turning the ball over, and the whole incident with his brother, and that was the anniversary of it.
You have CJ stats for the season. I was surprised by one of the stats there, or lack of one of the stats. But, you know, when I was watching CJ, I noticed that there was no wave of emotions. When other quarterbacks are playing, when Jimmy's out there playing, when you see These DBs are so fired up, man. I love seeing them celebrate with each other and everything. Oh my God. These DBs were on fire this game, man. Jason Verrett getting up, chilling, like Spoon laying on the, he broke up the deep one down the sideline and did like the belly surfing thing on the ground, like, and got up for the next play. It was incredible to see. But with the other guys, they get rattled. They, you can see them like mouthing, they're pissed off and everything. They're like angry at themselves and all that stuff. Good plays. They're like pumping themselves up. Beathard was just like, all right, next play. Throw a touchdown pass.
Collective.
Yeah. Throw a touchdown pass. All right. Go to the sideline. That play that they ruled the fumble. All right. Where's the tablet? Let me get ready for the, next drive. Like, he was even keeled the entire time. And it was just different. It was just different to see something like that. And that's what made me feel like we were going to be okay in the fourth quarter, because it didn't get here. The moment never got too big for him. He was just CJ. For better or worse, he was just CJ. And I thought that was really cool to see. Do you have his stats there, Tony, still?
I'll give him 1 second. He had 5 touchdown passes, no interceptions.
That was it right there. I would have never guessed that CJ Beathard didn't throw an interception this year.
Hold on, give me 1 second.
You said that, and I was like, what? No.
He's 41 for 67, 514 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, average 7.7, a 61.2% with a QBR of 109.9.
No picks for CJ Beathard. All right, here you go, man. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I just saw it on there, and I was like, this would be a perfect question for Tony to answer for the guys in the chat, for the people in the chat. Sorry.
Hey guys, I watch you all the time. What are you doing? All right, we're gonna start going into this now. Okay.
I just thought it would be, you probably have the best perspective of the four of us probably on this guy.
I know people are trying to put a bad name on this kid. Okay, like there's a website that was out there that put a bogus report out that was immediately shot down by Adam Schefter, multiple people in the industry.
Wait, I want to know the jerk. Tell me the rumor, and then tell me what.
How this website compared him to Johnny Manziel without the drugs and alcohol.
Oh, snap.
Okay. So, I mean, this is what we're dealing with. Yes, he's young. Yes, he's not a big quarterback. He's a more thinner framed quarterback. He's mobile. He has a great arm. He's
like 6'3", right?
Huh?
He's like 6'3", right?
He's like 6'3", 210, 215 maybe. I like him. I like what I see against him. The positives, great arm, great touch, can make any throw. The negative, his footwork's a little but his arm talent makes up for his footwork. Where we say Jimmy's footwork is but his arm can't make up for the So I like it. He's coming off of a shoulder injury and operation on the shoulder. And the shoulder, his arm looks good, man. His arm is there.
His throwing shoulder?
The question is, who is he facing at BYU? That's my main concern. I would have loved to see him get into a bowl game and play. Obviously not Clemson, obviously not like teams like that, but I would have liked to see him play maybe a bigger name school where there's like a little bit more better competition than Coastal Carolina, Boise State. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Same problem you're going to have with Lance, right? I mean, his competition.
Yeah, that's another thing. I think Lance has great arm talent. I think Lance is very explosive as a runner. My opinion on Lance, I think he's a run-first guy. Then he's a passer. But the biggest red flag to me with Lance is 1 whole year separated from football.
See, I disagree about Lance. I think both of these guys, these prospects, are going to be interesting entering the NFL. I think you're going to get a lot more, as football keeps progressing in college, you're going to get a lot of guys that can throw the ball but can move on with their legs. So that's the good thing. The thing I like about Lance, though, is that he'll stay in that pocket. The games that I watched, or some of the highlights that I watched from him, and film, like, he wasn't a run first guy. Like, he was staying in the pocket. He could get the ball. He got an arm too. I would say that your boy Zach has the better arm, the deeper arm. I would say that. But both of these guys can throw on the run. Lance can take more hits. Like, I mean, and not that you want your quarterback taking hits, but I think if Lance takes a hit, he'll get back up more than what Zach Wilson would do. They're both shifty. I mean, me personally, give me one of these type of quarterbacks. Since the rest of the division has these quarterbacks, we might as well just go ahead and jump on the quarterback train too, because both of these guys can extend plays. It's something I like about Trey Lance, though, a little bit more than I do Zach Wilson. I gotta really break this down when I go ahead and watch some of their game film, but it's something about Trey Lance that I like more.
So here's a quick question. Sorry to steal everybody's thunder, but I know it's a little off script of what we were talking about. But going into the offseason and starting the next season, typically we've got 4 quarterbacks on the roster for camp, right? So who do you guys think is your 4 quarterbacks? And you can use the caveat of draft X, person or whatever. And I would say that I think that with the performance that we saw from Beathard and the way we know that Kyle feels about him, I wouldn't be surprised to see him back. I won't be surprised to see Jimmy back. I think Nick's gone. And then I think that they're going to give Rosen the camp to find out what he can do. And they're also will go get somebody a second tier, if you will, in the draft. So maybe like Trask or that kid out of Notre Dame, someone like that, just to fill in that 4th spot, and then the top 3 players are going to make it onto the roster.
I think CJ definitely comes back. I don't think Nick Mullins is going to play football in 2021 if he gets a Tommy John operation.
Sure.
So he's alleviated from the pack. I think it's going to be CJ. I think it's going to be a rookie. I think it's going to be a veteran, and then I think it's going to be another undrafted rookie.
Do you think Rosen stays? They have his rights.
I do think Rosen stays.
Okay.
Because, and listen to me, we could talk about this all night. Is he in the NFL? Was he a good quarterback? No. He's had horrible coaching everywhere he went.
He beat the Niners, though.
Huh?
He beat us.
Yeah. Well, that was his arm. I'll tell you that.
Killing me, Wayne. Killing me.
That was 100%. I saw that throw, and I've never seen a throw like that before in my life. It was a go route, and he just launched it. But whatever. I do think Rosen will be back because we do own his rights as a restricted free agent, and he's not going to ask for a lot of money. He's looking for an opportunity, and if there's anybody that can get anything out of him, I think this is the offense that could help him. Or try to make that trajectory going upward. I do think a rookie will be added. I do think CJ will be back. Now, the question is, now listen, I understand what you're saying, Brian, about Jimmy, but I think Kyle knows Jimmy's ceiling right now, and you're not going to get more out of Jimmy than what we already have seen. Now, you're talking about potentially doing an extension and a restructure. I honestly think if that was the plan going into this, it would have been done already. But they didn't do it because they knew if they touched that contract before that date, you could kiss the $2 million dead cap space.
Right.
Got it. So now, I honestly, and it's not a knock against Jimmy. I just think Kyle says, okay, I know what this guy is going to give me. I know my max with him. But the question is, do you want to pay a guy that's topped out $27 million? I understand it's still cheap. I do, because people are making 35, 38. I don't even know what the hell friggin' Pat Mahomes is making $100 million. I don't know. But
his cap hit is actually really low this year, surprisingly.
Huh?
I said his cap hit was actually really low this year.
Yeah,
He's playing for 6 or 7 million
next year.
Yeah, no, even next year I think it's pretty low. I think it's
Really?
8 or 9 million for his or something like that. I haven't looked at it in a while, but it doesn't go until 23, 24, 25 where it gets huge numbers.
Yes, it was an extension.
So, I mean, basically, if it comes down to a business and if it comes down to a money factor, I don't think Jimmy's here. But like I said, if the cap stays up, there might be wiggle room to keep him here without redoing that deal, because right now I think we're at 20 million under the cap. You jump that up, we're over 40 million in cap space. You retain.
You know that I've been screaming about that all season, right? The money.
Yeah.
And now I'm telling you that it's actually cheaper to do an extension to keep Jimmy here than it is to go out and find another vet.
Well, this goes to the point to what Ollie was saying with her contribution here. She said she did some research after Kyle's presser yesterday, and all the vets that we're talking about, it's not any cheaper than Jimmy.
Absolutely.
Exactly what you were just saying here. But it depends on the kind of vet that you're talking about also. So, for example, if you're talking about a guy like Sam Darnold, it's cheaper than Jimmy. If you're talking about a guy like that, whether you acquire him through trade or if they cut him and you pick him up, whatever.
You think Sam Darnold is better than Jimmy Garoppolo?
I don't think Sam Darnold's a vet.
Well, that's true too. Yes. Absolutely, Wayne. I agree with that.
Right. In this system, yes, he's got more ability than Jimmy Garoppolo. Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. His last 2 games, he was impressive.
So I think the last 2 games, the Jets probably changed their mind what they're going to do with number 2.
What's that?
I said I think that his performance over the last couple of games has changed the Jets' perspective on who they're going to go after at the beginning of the draft, or if they're going to trade back to give somebody else that's quarterback hungry their draft spot.
Yeah, but I just there's so many ways that this could go. I mean, there really is multiple ways. You could bring in, like, look what San Diego did. I mean, Los Angeles Chargers, and I honestly think if you're going to do it, this is the way to do it. You bring a veteran in, a bridge quarterback, you draft a kid, you start the veteran. When the kid's ready, you transition. I know Tyrod Taylor had a lung injury where he was punctured, but guess what? That transition, that injury took Hebert, and Hebert ran with that offense. There's no way in hell Tyrod Taylor is going to put those numbers up in that offense. I was shocked.
Why not just keep Jimmy?
Because we know Jimmy's limit.
But there's a bunch. These guys got limits too.
I understand that, but once you're dealing with a confidence factor and you second guess your ability to throw.
I'm just talking about keeping Jimmy as a vet. You just said that it's going to cost. These vets are going to cost us more money, unless you get a vet.
I don't think so.
On a 1-year deal, like a Cam Newton, like those type of vets, then that's different. But if you're talking about getting a vet that you're going to have to trade for, like a Matt Stafford, we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
You're going to have probably a better guy to work with at the quarterback position, but you're also going to be spending more money and you're drafting a guy. So it's like, why not just keep Jimmy as the bridge quarterback?
Because the guys who cost more that you're talking about acquiring have more ability than Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's the problem. Kyle knows his limits.
I don't understand.
But we're spending more money and we need money to do other stuff.
So what? It don't work if we have the same quarterback. Why are we acting like we didn't see Jimmy Garoppolo this year? I don't get why people are so stuck on this guy.
I'm not stuck on the guy. I'm saying keep the guy, let him be the bridge guy. You draft your guy, and you.
Why are we keeping him?
Because we could. So Jimmy can still do things. He was hurt this year, right? Are we forgetting that he got hurt?
He was hurt week 1,
but he didn't play poorly week 1. He just didn't have a great game.
His best game all year was after he rolled his ankle.
His best game was week against the Jets until he rolled
his ankle. Yes,
but look, we're arguing about a guy that got injured. I agree. Jimmy is limited. I understand that, but we're going to spend more money on the quarterback, and then we won't have money to bring in some of these other pieces we're talking about.
But we keep trying to.
Let me ask you something.
Because I thought if we're drafting a QB, I'm not saying we're drafting it with the first pick.
Yeah,
we're drafting a guy to eventually place this guy, then like we just need a bridge guy.
Let me ask you something. If you go to Jimmy Garoppolo and say, listen, we want you to take a pay cut to stay here and be a bridge quarterback. We want to take you from 27 million to 10 to 12 million.
Where's he going to go to start, Tony? Ain't no team in the goddamn league going to start Jimmy Garoppolo.
I promise you he will go to New England.
No, we would if we get him cheaper.
Now the problem is it's just he cannot stay on this team at 27 million.
That's my point. That's what I'm saying.
If he agrees to restructure his deal and take a pay cut, not push the money down the line,
And it's okay to keep Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes, you have to lower his salary. His performance is not a $27 million quarterback.
I'm agreeing with that. You just said we just talked about veterans coming in here that are going to cost more than what Jimmy is making.
No, you could sign, like, I just have the list up right here. Like, the top free agent quarterback right now is Dak, right? I think we all agree on that. You have Trubisky behind him. I'm not a fan of Trubisky throwing the ball. Jameis Winston's a mess. You have Fitzpatrick. Phillip Rivers, his arm is shot. Brissett. And then you have Andy Dalton. You have CJ, who's a free agent, I think is going to be back. Now, if you look at something, right, if you take Andy Dalton, I'm not saying he's the guy. If you take Andy Dalton, he signed with Dallas for $5 million, $5.95 million. Okay. He's now the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. This is a guy that started in the NFL for 8, 9, 10 years. He has playing experience. If you take him and say, listen, we want to bring you in, we're going to give you a 2-year deal at $12.5 million a year, $13 million a year. You don't think he's going to say, okay. And now you have a quarterback at half the price of Jimmy. You're freeing up space to keep the nucleus of this team together, because don't forget, we do have 41 free agents.
Yeah,
not all of them are coming back.
If I can get you to keep Jimmy for a third of his current salary, that still opens up a huge amount of money. And
I understand what you're saying, Brian, but what you're saying is restructure. Restructure is taking his $27 million.
I'm doing an extension, not a restructure, an extension.
Okay, extension. You're taking his $27 million. You're shrinking it to 7, and you're pushing $20 million down the road. So why would you want to do that when you're handcuffing yourself financially now to Jimmy Garoppolo?
So what are the options with Jimmy?
But you can handcuff yourself for 3 years.
What are the options with Jimmy? If we cut Jimmy, how much do we lose? I guess that's my question.
If you cut Jimmy Garoppolo June 1st, no,
2.8.
You're on the hook for $2.8 million out of the $27 million.
That's a no-brainer then.
That's what I'm trying to say.
But you still have to be able to find a vet that's going to get you a $10 million, right? Probably is what you're going to look for, is what you're trying to find. Because you're not getting Stafford for his money. You're not getting any of those guys you want to trade for. Not happening. You're going to have to go get Fitzpatrick or Cam Newton, somebody else I don't want on this fucking team, to be, to take a salary that still keeps us with the ability to sign those other free agents that we have.
That's what I was trying to say.
Here's the thing. All right. Kitchen. I've been laughing at this name. I got to get this comment off so I can stop giggling over here. All right. I don't know. The Kitchen. There's somebody in here named Mr. Cheese.
But we got to get him on the Sizzling Sunday show, yo.
But yeah, it says Jimmy ain't it, bro. Next. Thank you for the contribution.
Maybe it's Eminem Kitchen. Go back and let me see that picture again. Because he got M&Ms in the joint, right?
I don't think those are M&Ms. I think it's just swirls in the letter M.
The colors of the M's and then the 2 eyes. All right, whatever. I'm looking way too hard. All right.
And then here's another one from Niner Benzino. Niners
49ers versus Shanahan 49ers.
We're gonna save this for the end. I promise you, we're gonna save this for the end because I don't feel like. But I do want to say something about Jimmy real quick. We're having this conversation about this quarterback, right? And we keep saying that we need to have this veteran guy here first. And I get it. We saw what Andy Reid did, right? He had Alex Smith and he passed the torch to, you know what I'm saying? We saw what happened in Green Bay where they went from Brett Favre to Aaron. But that's not how it works in the NFL most of the time. That's not normally how it is. Normally bad teams go get a guy and they say, let's make something work. Now, we don't want to do that.
In the first top 10 picks of the draft, Mike.
Right. We don't want to do that because we feel like we have an opportunity right here. We have a little bit of a Super Bowl window. So let's at least guarantee that we get somebody decent and maybe find our guy, whether it be through draft, free agency, trade, right? I understand all that. But if you know Jimmy's not the guy, you are wasting time when you have that beautiful out this year. That out is there for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bottom line. That's it. The out is in there for a reason. You are not gonna. Sorry, Brian. I don't think they're gonna.
There's no reason to be sorry. I said he was gone from the beginning of the season because of the salary cap issue. I'm just now changing my perspective because I looked at it
this year if they're already under the impression he's not the guy. If you're trying to save money from a $27 million contract, which is middle of the pack for a starting quarterback, that tells you he's not the guy. If he's not the guy, just move on and find the guy. Or find another guy and find out that guy's not the guy, but at least don't stay stagnant. That's what you can't do with this window. You cannot stay stagnant.
We shouldn't stay stagnant, but I'm telling you right now that I think that the team is going to keep him here. I'm speculating that he will be here next year, just based off of the information that everybody has access to. I don't have anything special that I have access to. I read stuff. I listen to how people talk and the words they use. And that being said, I think that he will be here next year. I think that they're going to do an extension on him to get his salary cap down, and you're going to see him here. I think from the very beginning of the year, the best solution would have been for him to go at the end of this season. We take a 2.8 hit, and then we go find somebody. But when you look at who's available and still keeping that money open,
Ryan,
it's just
I'll take a Ryan Fitzpatrick, bro, over Jimmy Garoppolo, dog. I'm sorry.
I'll take a Colin Kaepernick over Jimmy. I will.
And
he can run, and he owns the Green Bay Packers, so let's go.
Right. And the reason why I say that is because A, you're getting a veteran quarterback. B, I mean, he lit the torch for that Miami Dolphins team. I know Tua took the reins from him or whatnot because they wanted to transition their guy that they drafted with the high pick or whatnot. But like Mike said, like if we can go and get a Fitzpatrick, who I don't think we could get for $2.8 million a year or $5 million a year, because other teams are going to probably try to get. He is the perfect bridge quarterback in the NFL. Like, he is the guy you want on your team to get your team going, and then you bring in your guy if when need be. You know,
if I had my way, I would go and barter with Gruden and bring Mariota here to be the bridge quarterback. I loved watching him play at Oregon. I would love watching him in this system. I don't think that he has had the opportunity in the NFL to excel because he injured himself while he was in Tennessee several times, and then he lost his job. I think that if he was in this system, it'd be great. But it would be, even if it wasn't great, it would be fun to watch. Watching him play the way he did at Oregon in similar type of system as what, Shanahan, at least the way we think that he wants to run it, I think it would be great. But I don't foresee them doing that. And I don't foresee Gruden giving him up anyway, unless it was, for a second round pick, which would be a waste of our time.
All right. So to answer Brian's question from a long time ago that I never answered, if you had 4 QBs on the roster going forward next year, if I had it my way, my 4 quarterbacks would be the following. Rosen, because we have his rights. He'd be a cheap keep. Beathard, he'd be a free agent that we would have to extend, but I think we get a little bit of a discount. I don't think he's going to cost us a ton. And then I would go with Trask in the draft, and I am bringing back Brock Rutter. Those are my 4 quarterbacks.
That was your guy right there.
I knew that name was going to come up.
But, I know a lot of people are looking at these athletic quarterbacks and stuff like that, and Kyle has never shown interest in them with his own roster. I just can't see that changing. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Then great. I'll be excited to see what he puts together. But I'm going to stick with the trends that I see, and that's just how I see it right now.
If Kyle wants to stop growing gray hair, he better learn how to switch it up. Sometimes you got to freaking change your game plan up, yo. Sometimes stuff just don't work the way you want it to work. This is 1970, 80 Mike Shanahan, yo. And it's funny because we're watching these quarterbacks, and it's not that you want a run-first quarterback. It's just you want a quarterback with the ability that can escape from the pocket if the play breaks down, doesn't shoot a stupid interception. Even freaking what's the quarterback from the Bills guy? Josh, what? We got too many damn Josh. Who? Him.
Josh
Allen. He was throwing interceptions left and right until he decided to say, you know what I could do? I could run. I could read this defense, watch it break down, nobody be on me, take off, run, be safe, slide. They protect the quarterbacks nowadays, get the first down, live to the next play. I think Kyle needs to figure out and say, and that was my only issue with Kyle. He needs to, what's the word? He needs to progress. Like, he needs to say, hey, this ain't it. Let's go ahead and change stuff up.
Yeah, he gets stubborn and stuck on guys. You see it with his unwillingness to even change from Mullins to Beathard. He gets stuck on guys. He's got to get out of that. We got a lot of contributions to get to really quick, and then we're going to go back to that one about Harbaugh's 49ers Super Bowl year or Kyle's Super Bowl year? Which team do we think wins? And we're going to wrap this show up here. This one is from Kitchen again. He said, any chance we draft a quarterback? Who was your favorite out of the rookies? There is a chance that we draft him. We don't know how highly we draft him, but mine is going to be for this team, Trask. Not necessarily that I think he has the most ability, but I think that he is a perfect fit for what we do in this system here. Anybody else want to take that?
I like Trey Lance out of North Dakota State.
I'm going to go with you, Mike, on Trask, but only because of where we're going to fall in the draft. I think he's the most attainable person, him or Mac Jones, but I prefer Trask over Jones.
Okay.
I think our choice is going to come down to Trask or Jones, like you said. I think
now there's a possibility of trading up. So if you guys could have any of these rookies that you've seen so far, who would it be?
Correct, but I just think the problem is what it will cost to trade up from 15 to 2. I don't think this team could do, because you're talking about multiple first-round picks, multiple seconds, multiple fourths. You're talking about probably a package of like 6 picks going to another team.
Wave a magic wand and tell me who that player is.
Trevor Lawrence.
See, listen, man.
He's not worth selling the future for, and he's definitely not worth selling all our picks for.
Go ahead and shit on Trevor Lawrence. No pressure. Everybody watching.
Yeah, everybody can watch. That's fine. So there ain't a quarterback in this draft that I would risk our future of the team for.
I'll put it like this. I think Trevor Lawrence is a very talented quarterback. I also think Trevor Lawrence is a product of the system. The design of that offense. I mean, listen, you can't question his arm. He does have a good arm. He does throw with nice touch. But how wide open and everything is, and how that offense is orchestrated.
Isn't that what Kyle Shanahan does, Tony? That's his whole goal.
Correct. You're not playing collegiate level people.
That's correct.
Right. It's a totally different game. That's
we're
why
talking about scheming and getting people open. And if Kyle can get a quarterback to get the ball further,
that's why it is so hard to evaluate a quarterback to make a transition to the NFL. Now, if you're going to ask me, system-wise, there's 3 quarterbacks that fit this system, in my opinion, perfect. It's Mac Jones, it's Trask, and it's Wilson. I think those 3 guys, from a transition point, because if you watch BYU, they use like Shanahan principles in their offense, like with the jets, the motion, the orbit motion, jet sweeps, under center, shotgun, running out of that shotgun, running out from under center. So the thing is now he's playing with BYU talent. Their receivers aren't the fastest. They're not the biggest. They're not the best wide receivers in the country. Now, he's used to throwing with that type of speed in his offense. So now you got to see if he could project to the NFL level. That's what's so damn hard about these guys. Exactly. But I will tell you this. As far as touch, Trask is up there with anybody. Like the ball placement on him in the SEC competition, it's unreal. The guy throws 400-something yards a game with 4 touchdowns easily and doesn't even break a sweat. His mobility, not there. He's got a little quirky arm, his motion, his throwing motion. But if you're just talking about like a touch, like he puts a ball and the thing just drops. Now people say he doesn't have a strong arm. That's why he throws like those like rainbow passes and he drops them in a bucket. I want to go.
Somebody else who does that really well. His name, he plays for the Seahawks.
I don't know. A quarterback is so tough to pick. I mean, we could sit here for hours and debate every quarterback that's coming out that's going to be potentially an NFL guy in this draft. But we'll do that on a different show. But it's really tough, man.
My point is, I don't feel like the team will put themselves in a position to sell out for a quarterback. And I know that people are like, well, he could be great. Well, he could also be shit. That happened to Ryan Leaf, right? And who was the last person that we saw that traded multiple first-round picks to get in there? So Goff, RG3. I wouldn't trade the house for those 2 guys. No freaking way. And so, I mean, it's a roll of the dice. But at least with the draft picks that we have, we can build depth at other positions or even at quarterback if we wanted to. So I think that it's like giving up those draft picks to move up is just to me, it doesn't make sense.
And if you look at the Shanahan track record between his father and him, they never took a quarterback. Well, I can't say that. They did take RG3 in the first round, but that was pushed on by the owner.
Right.
Because I've never seen a team take a quarterback in the first round in the top 10 and then come back in the high fourth, low third and take another quarterback. Like right then and there, that was like, okay, something's not right. This guy wants this one, they want this one. So, or vice versa. So they don't have the track record of drafting high quarterbacks. So it's going to be interesting. And like I said, what it's going to cost to get from 15, if they win this week, potentially 17, 18, to get up to 2, this team will be desolate. They won't have draft picks in the top 3 rounds probably for 2-3 years.
Breezy, you wanted to jump in real quick?
I just don't want another quarterback, sit and duck quarterback. And Kyle Trask is immobile. I get he could throw the ball, but if our protection ain't that great, then he's going to be sacked like a mug. So what's the point? Sacked and hurt. So, get a guy in there that can make one guy miss and still throw accurate, can probably get the ball down there. A lot of these quarterbacks can get the ball down the field. So that at least the tiered names that we're talking about, they can get that ball down the field. But
sorry, go ahead.
But I cannot take another quarterback that's going to be stuck in the backfield looking at a guy coming in there to sack him. I just can't, because let's just keep it a buck. Our offensive line isn't top 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just they're okay. You know, I think you get a center, we'd be better, but that's a whole nother show. That's just my point on Trask. His immobility is what him and Wilson. I don't think they're mobile quarterbacks. Dude from Alabama. So
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. I'm sorry.
All right, let's.
One last thing on that. There was a couple of comments in the chat about you're supposed to build around a quarterback, and I absolutely agree. You should draft a quarterback and build your system around that, but that's not what Kyle does. Kyle has a system, and the quarterback will figure out how to play in Kyle's system. That's what he has done. That's what he will continue to do, I feel. So
I agree with that to an extent. Because if you look at the offense with Jimmy compared to Nick, compared to CJ, it's 3 different offenses.
You're right.
I think he wants to keep his principle, but I think he's doing this right now because he doesn't have a choice. He doesn't have the guy that
right. But if he went and found his quarterback would fit into his system, or it wouldn't be his quarterback. That's the way I look at it. And I don't know that Kyle has his quarterback in this draft.
We'll see. We'll find out what they think soon. Al A has a $5 contribution. Question is simple. Is 2021 a rebuild year? If yes, Jimmy is out. If no, Jimmy stays. My opinion. Why judge him after a bad year? He took us last year. And this is a loaded comment. So I'm just going to say thank you for the contribution, because I don't want to get into he took us versus we went, because that's a whole big thing. Oh, here's another contribution here. All right, we missed a couple of these things. Ali, thank you for the contribution. Says Kyle's dad worked with Jimmy before, and please go listen to the presser Kyle had yesterday. Mike, y'all know I'm not the best Kyle's fan. We've heard all the pressers. Well, at least I have, and I'm not convinced that Jimmy is coming back still. I'm not. So we'll see what happens, though. If he's back, he's back. If he's not, he's not. And we'll see what happens. The team got a good win. We are that much further away from drafting a top quarterback now that we got the win. So we'll see what their options are. And the last argument of the night, guys, here we go. 2012 49ers versus 2019
last year.
Yeah. Versus 2019 Niners.
It's been a long year, I know, Mike.
I'm going to go first because my computer's going to die. But give me the defense from 2012 and the offense from 2019.
You can't mix and match. No,
sure I can. They didn't know rules to this stuff.
All right. So nobody wins. Breezy's calling it a tie because it was which team wins. He said, give me that defense and this offense.
I think the 2012 team wins, to be honest.
Okay. All right. I like that. Anybody else want to go? I'll spit my answer out if not.
No, I look at it as It's kind of a wash. I mean, because you got two head coaches that are both stuck in their own ways. I mean, how many times can you throw the same fucking pass to Crabtree and have him not get it? And then how many times can you do, lose in the fourth quarter in a Super Bowl, Kyle? How many times can you do that? Twice so far. So let's see, And if you want to compare regimes, because I think that's what the question was, how does Harbaugh over Shanahan? Well, we haven't really seen enough healthy seasons from Shanahan to be able to compare the two, because you have Harbaugh go to several consecutive NFC championships, and then you've got Shanahan, which has had to deal with injury plagued season, and then the Super Bowl appearance, injury plagued season, or the first one was starting from scratch, rebuilding basically.
Here's the difference, in my opinion. Jim Harbaugh was handed the keys to a Ferrari with that defense, and Frank Gore, and Vernon Davis, and a pretty damn good offensive line. They didn't have good wide receivers. They went out and signed Randy Moss, who was on the tail end of his career. But I don't think there's any competition between Kyle and Jim Harbaugh with creativity.
Sure.
I think Harbaugh and Roman were horrible. Teams knew what were coming. It's just their philosophy was, we're going to run it right down your damn throat, and you're not going to stop us, and we're going to play defense, and you're not going to get nothing. So I just think, and that was with Alex Smith. Then you throw in Colin Kaepernick, and it became a run offense with him running the ball right, running the ball left.
Yep.
And then once that film came out on Kaepernick, the next season, he tried to make Kaepernick into a throwing quarterback, and it was not happening. It was a one read. It was a one read offense, high or low. That's it. So creativity, hands down, it goes to Shanahan.
So which team wins in the matchup?
Huh?
Which team are you taking in the matchup? If they were to play a game,
who's winning the game, Tony?
That's tough.
Harbaugh wins, because we can't, as
Harbaugh
someone
wins
else said in the chat, we cannot stop a mobile quarterback with this defense.
Cap would have ran all
over this defense.
all over this team, bro. And the run game that we have too, oh my God. Oh no. And we saw, by the way, that year, we saw what that defense does against the Shanahan defense, offense. That Harbaugh team would beat the shit out of this team because it's about matchups. It's about matchups. And that defense against Kyle's offense matched up really well. And this defense does not match up well against that kind of quarterback and run game.
Yeah, but if you're waving your magic wand, I think that we would see a different picture too, because Colin wouldn't be able to get outside the pocket if you have a healthy D Ford and a Bosa coming at him at 9 million miles an hour.
That's not true.
Armstead and Buckner also pushing, and Warner, and then you got Sherman out there. Well, you had Sherman out there.
We saw the Packers game with the good edge rushers, and as soon as they came in, he stepped up and he was gone for 70+ yards down the field. I mean,
I would say those edge rushers were not as good as our current edge rushers if they were both healthy.
It was the Goldilocks. What the hell is his name? 52.
Matthews.
Clay Matthews. That's his name. Clay Matthews. Clay Matthews.
Yeah, no.
He was good at that time.
I'm not saying he wasn't good. I think that the combination of our defensive line that we had in 19, if they were all 100% healthy, you wouldn't see the same Cap. I don't think that he is able to be as mobile because they would contain him better. But I still think that Harbaugh would win with Cap as quarterback.
Yeah. It would be a fun game to watch, though. It would be a fun game.
Yeah, it would.
All right. So
just before we move on, one question. I thought our defense matched up pretty well against Roman with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore last year.
Yeah, but it was also raining.
It was a shitty game. I mean, the weather was not very good, right? It was like the Washington game where it was just raining.
He was still running on us, but
yeah,
he was keeping first downs alive. And if it wasn't for that Marcel Harris strip, that was on one of his positive runs. He just lost the ball. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, we'll never know, unfortunately.
2012 will win that game just because of the mentality of that defense, bro. It was different. They were damn near the Baltimore Ravens D, yo.
Can we
Like,
simulate this in Madden? Is that an option? Is that
nah,
You
not
talking like Alden and Justin together?
not anymore, bro. They don't have the older joints. We gotta play like an old Madden where they got the older.
They don't do that anymore. Damn, Madden corny. The game costs twice as much as it used to, and it can't. I got less features now.
The graphics, man. They took out those features to make it look real.
They don't do the old
You want to
teams
go
anymore.
back to stick figures, or you want to play with real looking people?
If I could do my simulations, give me stick figures.
Stick figures.
All right, guys, that's gonna do it for us tonight, man. Thank everybody who rocked out with us, man. The game is over, like I said. No Niners, man. And we're gonna do a little teaser for next week's loss to the Seahawks. Oh, I'm sorry. We're gonna find out what people think about next week's
We're
game.
gonna lose that game 13-9.
What'd you say? We're gonna what?
We're gonna lose that game 13-9. Robbie Gould is gonna have 3 field goals.
Out of how many attempts?
He's gonna be 3 for 3, and one of them is gonna be a 50-yard.
All from within the 30.
Clearly, Mike can't hear shit that I'm saying tonight, right?
I heard you when I'm gonna be from a 50. I'm nope, not the Robbie Gould I know.
Did
not
you
this
see
year.
Pete Carroll put out a statement saying that they're going to come with everything they got.
Okay.
They're trying. They still think that they're in the mix for the number 1 seed.
They're gonna lead the game with some injuries.
To me, it's not smart, but hey, you got to do what you got to do. They think they want to get number 1, but to get number 1, you have to have the Saints and the Packers both lose, and I don't think that's going to happen this weekend.
What time do we play, and what time do the Packers and Saints?
We're the last game of the night.
The last game,
so
night game.
We're a night game or 4:00 game?
Yeah, flex to the
Not
night.
the night game.
When did we get flex to a nighttime game?
No way.
We're
No,
not
this
on.
game wasn't. No, this
They
game
look
wasn't.
schedule.
Nah, it's a 4 o'clock game, 4:15, 4:30
If
game.
they flex that game tonight, there's something wrong with them.
I
They
don't
want
know.
the Niners to get beat on national TV. There's nothing wrong with them. We saw what they wanted last week.
No, we're 4:25.
Yeah, the Eagles or the Eagles Washington game get flexed to the night game.
We were never the night game. We were never that night game.
I thought we were okay. That's my bad. I thought we were the late game.
But I wonder if the Packers play at 1 and the Saints play at 1 because they're
I'm
East
pulling the
Coast
schedule up
folks.
now.
I wonder what time they play because they know their fate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If at kickoff they know their fate, then
All right, guys,
it's a little different.
about to die.
But yeah, so that's gonna do it, man. We'll preview the game in this coming week. Maybe we'll have some guests on. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what we want to do this week. It's just rough with my schedule, so we don't know. But I want to thank you guys for jumping in here, man. Hour and a half show was nice and solid. You guys are great. You found the time, B?
Yeah, it is. It's 4:25 for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Washington and the Eagles game got flexed to the night game.
Okay. Oh, look at what is the NFL doing? No one gives
Well,
a
it's
shit
because it's the last. If Dallas or depending on what the outcome is earlier in the day, whoever wins the Washington Eagles game ends up going to be taking the spot. And so I'm assuming they're trying to get money for that, you know. But not that anybody cares who wins the NFC East, but you know.
Yeah, no, I that's what I'm saying. Like that's why I can't believe that's the one that they decided to put in at the nighttime game. You know what I mean? So it's just weird. There has to be an
Just
AFC
because it hasn't
game.
been decided yet. That's all.
Yeah, there has to be like an AFC game that like determines someone's playoff hopes or something they could put in instead. But whatever.
We have
All right, guys.
We have a request by Brian Edwards to do a early mock draft.
Oh,
That's not happening until after free agency because
Yeah.
it's going to change about 500 times.
You're right. That would have to be like following the combine.
Yeah, it's man, oof. We'll see. We'll see what happens, man. Never mind. All right, I have to get off before I start saying stuff I don't want to say on the microphone, guys. So I have to go now. Thank you guys for rocking out. Any final thoughts, fellas? Let's get up out of here. Breezy said my laptop's out. I'm out. Peace. Tony,
I'm good, man.
B.
All good here.
Just keep the alerts. Keep your alerts set. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
there's
I
gonna
almost
be-
did a breaking news video for the Brandon Ayuk thing, and then I was like, I thought about what I was going to say about the effects of the rest of the season. I was like, wait, there is no rest of the season,
Exactly.
so that's why I was like, we'll just talk about other things. So, all right, man, prepare for glory.
Anticipate pain.
but always remain
faithful.
Hey, like the hat. I like that.